Good morning all, welcome back to Nick at NovaAdventures. Where are we off on this sunny Sunday? We are off to Pembrokeshire. I'm not going to tell you much more about that, but you'll see maybe from the thumbnail where we are going to be. So hopefully 3 visits today, certainly 2. Let's see if we can do all 3. It is, I was going to say 10 AM, but it's not, because the clocks are gone forward and you lose an hour in the old bed. Anyway, extra hour of glorious sunshine today, which is always a good thing. So it is 11 o'clock, it's 14 degrees, it is the 29th of March 2025. This might be a short one, you might not see much of me, you might not see much of Nova, because we are going to be using David the drone. Right, that's all I'm going to say for now. I'm going to hit the road and we shall see you very shortly. Bye for now. A couple of shots there of Nova in front of the oil refinery where we parked up before going on our 1.5 mile hike. Here we are then, we've walked about a mile away from Nova. Quick recce on the beach for some sea glass, which we've got some glass and some porcelain. And look at the stunning location where we are. This is the entrance to Pembroke Dock, Milford Haven. And there's a boat coming in the distance. And that big ship about there, that is a LNG tanker, liquefied natural gas, delivering to the refinery on the other side. And then there's the jetty there. We are adjacent to Valero oil refinery, and if the David shots worked, we'll have a 360 of that. And then our destination is just up on the hill there. And there are 3 here. There's 1 there, there are 2 on the other side, which we are also hoping to get to today. Right, let's go and walk towards that and get David up. Just before we enter the access road up to the fort up there, it is a public right of way, but it is a private road. You will see around the oil refinery High Court injunction signs just like this. Notice of High Court order dated 26th of January 2024, and as it says, the order is in place until the 13th of December 2028 or further order in the meantime. The defendants are forbidden from doing all of that. So this was you'll see this sign in a lot of or on the fences to oil refineries, power stations, oil storage depots, etc, etc. And because groups that I won't name to give them credibility, but there are groups out there that got into the refineries, they chained themselves or locked themselves to the fencing. And there we are, there is the official document. The High Court order is actually next to the sign, which it has to be. We have arrived at Popton Fort in Pembrokeshire. Enjoy this one, guys. Here we go. We are walking up there and getting closer to it. So the 3 forts, the one this side and the 2 the other side, which we'll be visiting later on today, they all form part of the same defence to protect the Royal Naval dock facility at Pembroke Dock in the late 1800s. And of course, if you were coming to attack the area, that's where you'd come in from the sea, down the estuary and up to Milford Haven. So yeah, lush day. It was a bit cloudy on the way up, but it's come nice and sunny. All right, here we go, no more talking from me. Let's get up to the fort building itself, which is now privately owned by Valero, the oil refinery company. Sorry about my phone pinging. It was originally bought by BP, who temporarily closed the oil refinery, and then Valero bought it, and they've been there ever since. Hopefully we'll have an aerial shot of the refinery itself, but obviously not over the site boundary itself. I've checked on drone assist. There is no flight restriction zone here. The only warning is the triple SI along the coastline down there. Wow, look at that in there. What a shame this place is not open to the public. It would make a lush hotel, wouldn't it? Or a visitor centre. But unfortunately, the gates are locked. Hang on, we're going to do a bit of trickery here. There we are, the gates are locked. We can't go in there, but of course we have David. Or we could always ring him up and say, hello, we have a drone, do you mind? But we don't do that because there is no flight restriction zone in place. And of course we are being monitored on CCTV, and there is the data controller Valero. Okay, we can walk around the property, and of course it says private property, no unauthorized entry. I might ring them up and say, can you authorize entry for me? And there it is. That's what they're doing. It is the Valero protection program. What a stunning sight. And we are hoping, cheeky, we are hoping to get Mr. David up from here, publicly accessible and all that, to get one of them in. Yes sirree. We will be taking you down to the oil tanker. We won't get too close, of course. We know the risk, but we can do it. Right, a quick walk around for me, then I'm going to find a suitable place to take some photos, and of course get David up and do a circle shot and keep that all important VLOS, we call it VLOS, visual line of sight. Right, see those four tush moon awal, as we say in Cymraeg, which is a hole in the wall. Yep, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 there, and you've got 4 the other side. That's where they would have put the guns. And of course they're in an off angle. Michael was telling me about this in work the other day. Let's see if we can clamber up the bank and get a better view. Right, there we are. So you've got 4 there, you've got 4 there, and of course if they were direct pointing at each other, they would take them out. So what they did, they put them on the angle, so anybody coming in, all the men in the 1890s or whatever it was, coming in here wanting to take the battlement over, they'd get shot coming from this way from them, and they'd get shot coming in that way from them. So that was the idea of the battlement. They're in a diagonal angle, as I've just said. I shall pull out, there is missing from the top of that one, but let's just, while we can with the GoPro, let's just give you a little bit of an insight to this. I'll give you some details on it when we get David in flight. And up there then would have been a cannon in a casement, and that one points, obviously the oil refinery wouldn't have been there, but that obviously points out this way. There's another one round the corner by there, and there's 1, 2, probably 3 on that one, and of course there would have been 2 or 3 on that one. Okay, a quick walk round, and then I said we're going to get David up and see what Hubston Fort looks like from up there. And of course we can't say from above because that's DJ Audit's line, and we don't want to copy DJ Audit's. Okay, here we go then. This is Hubston Fort. Okay, so you've seen some David's footage, we might get some more photos. Right, Hubston Fort then, it's a grade 2 listed building. It is a Palmerston fort completed in 1864 as a part of the inner line of defence of Milford Haven, together with Hubbardston Fort on the other side of the bank. So anyway, work commenced in 1859 and was only completed in 1864 at a measly cost of £76,000. How much would that be today? It has a tapering hexagonal rampart with pentagonal bastions at angles, and we showed you them earlier. It is surrounded by a clear area of sloping ground to the front and a ditch to the south side. It contained 11 9-inch 12-ton rifled muzzle loaded gun encasements and 10 guns in open emplacements. The barracks, located at the rear, could house 10 officers, 5 staff sergeants and 158 other ranks. Facilities included a canteen, a washroom, a hospital. It comprises of 2 batteries, Moncrief battery on the west side and open battery on the north side. It was abandoned at the start of the 20th century and it was used again during the Second World War. Bought in 1957 by BP to be used as an oil terminal, it was renovated but closed to the public. It is now part of Valero's Angle Bay refinery, as I said earlier, and of course it was given grade 2 star listed building status in 1996, and of course is in private ownership, as we saw earlier, the private property sign. Okay, we are going to get some footage of these tankers. We're not going to fly over the jetties, probably just a photo. We were approached by security. He was fine, and he just mentioned that they had trouble in previous years with these groups chaining themselves to the fences, etc, 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 and of course not to go over the oil refinery itself. And yeah, a good conversation with him, and he said, look, carry on, fill your boots and enjoy your day. Right, enough talking. So if I have called it Hubbardston Fort, I apologise. As we come to an end with David's aerial shots of Hubbardston Fort, there you go, nice little globe. We take you just over the top wall looking back to the oil refinery itself. We are going to pan round over the jetties now, where you can see the ships in the distance and that radar beam below you on the left hand side. So the security guard asked us not to take David over the jetties, so we are going to respect that. Obviously, for safety reasons, we know what we should and what we shouldn't be doing. So there we are, those tankers there, 4 in all on the day, delivering 270,000 barrels of oil per day. That is what the refinery refines. So here we are, we're going to have a shot of the refinery looking back from the road.
Home point updated.
So there we are, I did say we are near Valero oil refinery at near Pembroke Dock, and there it is in full view. So we're nowhere near, but hell of a view. You don't normally get a view from the back of an oil refinery like that. There we are, we'll zoom in with David. That's one hell of a shot right there. And right, we're off back to Nova now, and to have some lunch. Right then, we have made it to Fort number 2, Hubbardston Fort. I'm not sure what drone footage we will get from this one, because you can't get into it or close by it like you could in Hopton. So a few facts about this then.
Make a U-turn, then turn left onto Garriswick Road.
Let's turn that lady off because we're already where we need to be. Let's have a look. D. There. Nope. And nope. Right. she shouldn't interrupt us anymore. So we are on the west side of Milford Haven. Again, a grade 2 star listed building, built to defend once again the port of Milford Haven and the naval dockyard at Pembroke Dock. Construction began in 1860 and completed in 1863 at a cost of £55,000. Bit cheaper than Popton Port, but this isn't as big. There's a large battery here with 11 guns, encasements with 8 open battery above, and then 9 in an open flank battery, and then a large rear barracks. It's in the D-shape structure with a bomb-proof roof protected. A bomb-proof roof protected the barracks and other buildings from mortar projectiles. Protected by a deep ditch, and on the seaside by a counter scrape gallery. There we are, there's a quick view out. We were over the other side. You can actually see in the far distance there, you can actually see Hopton Fort. I'm getting my words mixed up today. And I can see from here South Hook Fort as well. There we are, another battlement to protect. So what else can we tell you about it? Yep, capacity of this one, believe it or not, 250 men, so about the same as Popton Fort. Why do I keep saying port? It's fort. Bloody hell, Nick. And this one was used in World War I and World War II. It featured in the BBC programme Hidden Wales Last Chance to Save in 2011. Right, time to get David up to see what we can see from up there. Oh, I love that. Cheesy, but it's good. Okay, let's do it. We couldn't resist it, could we? We couldn't resist it. Found a way in, and we might not get to the other fort, but this will be worth it. There we are, WR 1863 Fort Hubberstone. Now some people call it Hubberstone and some call it Hubberston. So here we go, through the door, through the big arch, Churchill written up the top there. Ah, that's where we've come in. Oh my god, I've seen this on channels before, but bloody hell, I didn't think we would ever get in here. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god, what a place. Wow. Wow, I think I might get David up and just do a just go round. As you see there, you can hear the echo. What? But oh my god, has Nick at NovaAdventures not only become stealth camping micro camper channel, Not only has he become an auditor, but you don't see that much on film, but he's now become one of those people most hate, urban explorer. Crazy. Oh my god, crazy. I'm going to just walk out through there and see what I can see, and then we're going to get David up just inside and do a, as I said, a circle. Follow me. Oh, I tell you, the heart is pumping. I've had to climb to get up here. I'm not going to be causing any damage. Graffiti on the wall here, shame. But you know, these buildings, they necessarily shouldn't be left to rack and ruin. People should be forced, if they own something like this, then they should be made to keep it in good condition, or open it to the public, or you know. Now look, we walk back there. Fucking hell, boys. Right, here we are then, urban exploring in Hubbarstone Fort. You will hear an echo because there is one. Oi! Like that. But what a place this would have been. 250 men in here. Here we go then. We're going to start in the shadows, and we're just going to gently pull David round. Try and go as slow as we can. The sun is over in that direction, which is why we're getting a bit of flaring. But just look at this building. Oh my goodness. Look. I'll try and go as slow as I can. Bring him down a bit. Bring the camera angle down a bit. And if I walk behind him, look at that. Wow. Now we'll just put the camera angle up just a little bit now as we go around. There we are. Wow. Oh, my heart is beating like mad for this one. I never ever thought I would get in here. We're not committing criminal damage. We've not damaged anything to get in. There we are, and we're coming back round now to where we started. There we are, you can see the arches there, chimney pots, openings. Here we are, back round to where we started. You won't get much footage like that from anybody. Let's see what we can see from up there. It. Some footage I didn't expect to take today, and possibly some footage you never thought you'd get today. I wish we could get up on top of there, but we are running short of time. We need to get me out of here. So anyway, as we walk out where we came in, I'm just going to I'm going to be quiet because there's a gate up there. Yeah, I don't know, I'm speechless. What a place. Okay, time to leave here and go to the next fort. So another urban explore. We found the last fort in the line of where we're going. There are more out to sea. As you can see, this would have been something, I'm not sure if it would have been a bunker because there's a access hatch by there. That's what we've come to take a photo of, or some drone footage of. So we could get in there, but we won't. And there is a way to go down into some complex down there, but again, I know there is security about, so I think we'll just chance with David for now. There we are, you can see what's down there, and we'll chance a quick walk through here. There we are, they're just buildings, and that's what I think these would have been chimneys. Look, so we're not going to go in per se, just going to go for a quick walk while we can. There's some buildings here to my right, and another big sort of fort there. And so we're not going to go in there, but you can see what would have been down there. But we are going to take the drone quickly up over there and see if we get stopped. Okay, let's go and walk back on top of that structure where we were just now, and I'll give you a little bit of commentary now, because if I get approached then I won't be able to speak to you. So let's come back out up the top here. So there is a fort that's in the sea itself, which is, if I come out, see the circle there, it might go a bit dark with me because the sun is setting. Oh, so, oh, there we are. So there we are, that is, you can see my shadow there. Hello, hello, there, look. So this is South Hook Fort. I think we'll just sit down here. South Hook Fort. It's another grade 2 stylistic building. It's in a D shape, so there's the flat edge of the D coming this way, and then the semicircle goes round the back. It's got 4 foot thick walls, 2-story barrack blocks. Might as well give you a quick pan round while I'm telling you this. 2 separate batteries protected by earthworks, and originally 20 guns facing to the sea, although later it was modified. Completed in 1865, surrounded by a deep ditch and accessed via a bridge. There we are. Its complement include a defence electric light search unit manned by 200 men. Its guns aligned to provide crossfire for those at Hubbardston, which we've just been to, and in Naughty, and Popton across the bay over there, the one that we went to first. Right, okay, that's about it then. So we'll get a quick drone footage just to say it was fully manned during World War I, but then abandoned in the 1930s, and in World War II it was manned by the Wrens to control naval movement in the haven. Once again, it was decommissioned and returned to private ownership, and now is a part of the South Hook LNG terminal. There we are. Who'd have thought it? Okay, let's get David up and see if we get approached. coming to the end of David's footage. There we are, just going upwards and panning a little bit down so you can see into that D-shaped fort itself, and some photos that we took with David also. It is a pity that we couldn't get as close as we wanted to, but the fort is now in the ownership of the LNG terminal at South Hook. Here we are, there's a ship, an LNG ship. What a massive ship, alongside the jetty delivering LNG fuel to the terminal. What a cracking shot with David there. On the left hand side in the distance, the Valero oil refinery. To the right hand side is the jetty and the LNG tanker. And in the middle are a set of underground buildings. Not sure what they were. They may have been arms storage. There's the ladder in the centre of your picture. In front of these underground bunkers are these circular structures which look to have held some form of gunnery, which to reload the gunnery, a counterweight would have dropped the gun into that centre hole as you see there. Then they would have reloaded the guns underground and then brought them back up. And around that structure there is a channel which would have allowed the gun to have been swung from left to right, etc, etc. We can't find much additional information on them. We have looked, but to no avail. I managed to get down into one of these buildings and look what we saw. Some bats hanging upside down, so we took a quick photo and promptly exited the buildings. Okay, as you see, there's a couple of photos. We went to have a look in one of the bunkers or the gun turrets and found some bats, so we quickly escaped from there to leave them on their own. This is the view we have for now. We're going to have a well-earned cup of coffee. We've walked 25,000 steps over 11 miles today, so that kebab I think will wait for another day. Anyway, I'm going to have a cup of coffee now and show you the view from Nova. Not sure what this guy is doing in the boat, but I remember when I stayed there before, he did exactly the same thing. He comes in, creates a bow wave across the beach, and then he just goes back out into the haven along his merry way. Crazy guy. There we have it. 2 campers and Nova. And that is the view we have. I just come out. The sun is going to set really well opposite us. There's going to be some really nice colours out there tonight. Right, let's have that cup of coffee. We don't have any chocolate, just an apple.